Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, and James Cameron on the set of Titanic, 1997. Thomas Andrews, the British naval architect who helped build the Titanic. Bursting with pride, he joined its maiden voyage. He was last seen in the first-class smoking room staring at a painting called Approach to the New World. His body was never found. Typists type blindfolded during a typewriting competition. Paris, 1940. Protest against the Vietnam War. Italy, 1970. A rope bed in a drunk tank in Britain. Early 20th century. Prisoners being taken to work. USSR, 1989. Geisha delivery service. Japan, 1901. A woman at the entrance of a museum at the site of the former German concentration camp Auschwitz, 1981. The first remote-controlled quadcopter, 1941. Suffering from hunger, a woman lies on the pavement in the Warsaw Ghetto. The picture was taken by a German soldier in 1941. Defeated. Captured Wehrmacht generals stand in thought at the walls of the artillery-damaged Berlin Cathedral, 1945. Crau Farini, The Monkey Girl, London, 1883. Adopted by Guillermo Antonio Farini, she was falsely advertised throughout her life as a primitive human and considered a missing link between humans and apes. During Prohibition in the USA, bootleggers stole industrial alcohol, and authorities decided to intentionally poison it. This federal program killed at least 10,000 people by 1933. Photograph entitled The Eyes of Hatred of Joseph Goebbels, when learning that the photographer taking his picture was Jewish, 1933. Everyone has embarrassing photos from the past. At 13, Louis Vuitton left his native village and walked to Paris in search of a better life. His journey, over 450 kilometers, was made on foot and alone after his stepfather kicked him out. In 1915, a Mexican student named Wenceslao Moguel survived 9 gunshot wounds during a firing squad execution in the Revolution. At night, he crawled to a church where he received help. A minute before execution, the harsh realities of war and inhumanity. The British lined up Muslims of India for refusing to fight against the Ottoman Empire, World War I, 1914. North Korea had not participated in wars for 60 years, but their generals looked so out of shape that they could be defeated with a magnet. People avoided casual conversations and were unsocial long before smartphones. A crowd attempts to overturn a car carrying a black family during race riots. USA, 1956. A Christmas gift giver traffic controller. Barcelona, 1970. The tradition of giving gifts to traffic controllers during Christmas was widespread throughout Europe, especially loved and followed in Spain. A young white child touches the shield of a black police officer during a Ku Klux Klan rally in Gainesville, Georgia, 1992. Grandmothers with tattoos. The photo shows elderly women with tattoos, a cultural tradition among Croatian Catholics in the region. Central Bosnia, around 1930. A sleep holder. In 1949, Dr. Igo Seeger from Vienna invented this device for railway travel. German companies supplying the Third Reich during World War II. Skeleton of Siamese twins in the Mutter Museum. Shell-shocked soldier in WWI, Belgium, 1914. Medical staff at a psychiatric clinic practice techniques for catching violent lunatics, 1903. Siamese twins Rosa and Joseph Blazek, and Rosa's lover, Franz Dvorak. Men's anti-masturbation ring, 19th century, used in psychiatric clinics and sometimes at home. In 1989, about 2 million people from Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania formed a human chain linking the three countries to show their desire to leave the Soviet Union. Waiting for the Loch Ness Monster to appear, Scotland, 1968. A North Korean propaganda postcard from 1988. The postcard depicts a South Korean defected soldier, his new wife whom he met in the North, and a Volvo car available to any decent North Korean. People pose on the carcass of a dead whale painted with graffiti, California, 1919. Dog-drawn carts in the 1920s Belgium. With horse shortages, over 15,000 carts were pulled by dogs. Early stage of a beauty contest evaluating contestants' figures, USA, late 1940s. Mother and child cooking in gas masks, French village, World War I. Chinese diplomats criticize London police for carrying batons, London, 1967. Los Angeles police stop an ostrich-drawn carriage for speeding, 1930. Pilots on a flight simulator, Russian Empire, 1915. A man is walking to deliver a package, unaware of the magnitude of the tragedy. New York, September 11th, 2001. 3 children on their way to school during severe dust storms, Oklahoma, USA, 1933. Andre the Giant drank 156 varieties of beer in one sitting and is the current world record holder for this feat. Survivors of the Titanic approach the SS Carpathia, 1912. Soldiers of the Potomac Army fight over a bottle of wine during the Civil War, Virginia, 1863. Self-proclaimed Reverend Father Yod with his wives, 1970s. His Los Angeles commune of the 70s turned sex, drugs, and rock and roll into a brilliant religious formation. German prisoners of war tidy up a football field during a break in a match between Moscow and Tbilisi's Dynamo teams, USSR, 1945. The fly whisk strike delivered by the ruler of Algiers to the French ambassador in 1827 over debt disputes served as the pretext for the French invasion and subsequent century-long occupation of Algeria, which lasted until 1962. Germans celebrating fall of Berlin Wall, Potsdamer Platz, November the 12th, 1989. Manchester and Cardiff fans arguing over which team plays better football. Britain, 1970s. 17th century England saw the fashion for plunging necklines and aristocratic pallor. The visible vascular pattern on the skin was considered beautiful, leading women to frequently use a blue pencil to draw veins onto their skin. The expression on your face when you win the jackpot. Australia, 1958. Hundreds of ships abandoned in San Francisco Bay. Since 1848, thousands of people rushed to California's gold fields, hoping to get rich quickly. Parts of many ships were later used to build houses in San Francisco. Quadruplers from the 1930s. Robert Corder during the testing of his invention, a jetpack. USA, 1969. A couple who moved to a white neighborhood looking at the graffiti in front of their house. Chicago, 1957. In 1997, a collapse occurred at a mine in China. 17 years later, one of the miners was found alive. On October 5, 1948, the Ashgabat earthquake killed 110,000 people in Turkmen, SSR. Paul Tibbets, the man who dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, 1996. An attack on a grandmother, London, 1954. Titanic survivors Marjorie and Charlotte Collier in New York, 1912. Bundles and bags with personal belongings on the streets of the Krakow ghetto after the remaining inhabitants were sent to Auschwitz, March 1943. They were ordered to leave their things. They would no longer need them. Thieves attack a store in the commercial area of Caledonia, Panama City, during the U.S. invasion of Panama, 1989. The Chicago Plan of 1833, when the city had only 350 residents. Jewish women before execution in occupied Latvia, December 1941. At the beginning of 1947, the USSR imposed a ban on marriages between foreigners and Soviet citizens in an effort to combat espionage. Soldiers fall, income rises. Poster from the USSR, 1968. Spanish poet Federico Garcia Lorca reading poetry before his execution, 1936. An invitation ticket for the Titanic's launching ceremony, Northern Ireland, 1911. A man arrested for dressing as a woman, 1939. Argentavis, possibly the largest bird to ever inhabit Earth. When the British jailed Gandhi in 1932, the nationalist leader continued to spin his own thread. Mahatma Gandhi called upon Indians to create their own textiles rather than purchasing British goods. Determining racial affiliation in Germany, 1940. Krista McAuliffe's parents watching the Challenger explode in 1986. Bobby Leach, the first man to jump into Niagara Falls in a barrel and survive, 1911. A vampire hunting kit, 19th century. Coin-operated shaving machine, USA, 1940. Merle Larcom manually starts the engine of his plane, USA, 1946. The last execution by guillotine did not take place in the Middle Ages, as many tend to think, but after the release of the first Star Wars film on September 10, 1977. Armor of Ferdinand I, Holy Roman Emperor, 16th century. This is not sodomy, but a patient at an orthopedic appointment. Stunned by the beauty he saw, the orthopedist grabbed a piece of metal with his right hand while doing something unclear with the other. Prisoner's shoes left at the site of the Butugichag camp in Kolyma, Russia, 1989. In 17th century England, women baked so-called cockle bread for their lovers. A piece of dough was pressed against the vulva to get an imprint. It was believed that such bread would act as an aphrodisiac. In 1969, when black people were banned from swimming near white people, TV host Mr. Rogers decided to invite Officer Clemens to join him and cool his feet in the pool. A black family drinks from a colored-only fountain in the U.S., 1956. The contrast between their dignified appearance and their humiliating social status is striking. 28-year-old Jenny Joseph posing for the Columbia Pictures logo, 1992. Testing bulletproof glass, New York, 1931. Experimental aerocycle by DeLachner, which was not adopted for use due to safety concerns for the pilot, USA, 1956. A demonstration of a new fireproof plastic by DuPont, 1966. Imperial fish-shaped boat, India, 1857. In the apartment of the victim, found with multiple stab wounds, serial killer William Hirons left a message on the wall written in red lipstick. "Please catch me before I kill again. I can't control myself." Greta Bösel, a trained nurse, was a guard at Ravensbrück, and as Arbeitseinsatzführerin helped select women for the gas chamber. The largest found dicot leaf in the Amazon rainforest, South America. A watch raised from the Titanic. It stopped at 2:28, 2 minutes after the crash. USA, photo from 1985. Between 1932 and 1972, the U.S. Public Health Service conducted a study in which 399 African Americans were intentionally infected with syphilis. A wrestler named Exotic and his minor father, United Kingdom, 1973. He was just a cat, but human enough to console during periods of loneliness and pain. A former slave holds a rod that was used by planters to call slaves, 1939. The contents of a Viking tool chest dropped over 1,000 years ago in Lake Mastermeyer on Gotland Island. The chest was recovered in 1936. Whether this clip sparked joy, anger, or just a bit of annoyance, I want to hear your thoughts below. Stick around for part 2 coming soon. Please hit like and subscribe to support the channel. See you!